All right, so the second part of task 17 is looking at different speed and work problems, looking at distance and time and figuring out rates. So for example 1, it says I drove my car on cruise control at 65 miles per hour for 3 hours without stopping. How far did I go? So for these problems, you're going to use a formula that is D equals R times T. Okay, the D simply stands for distance, and distance could be something such as miles. It could also be centimeters. It could be meters, various measurements like that. R is going to stand for rate, and a rate could be miles per hour. It could be centimeters per second, or so on. You'll notice that rates, you're always going to have that word per. So if you see a number that is talking about miles per hour, centimeters per second, something like that, that is always your rate. And lastly, the T is going to stand for time. So time would be simply hours, minutes, seconds, so on. All right, so let's first go through our problem and label what we have. So we have 65 miles per hour. So there's that word per, which I just went over. If you see that word per, that is telling you the rate. The other number I have is 3 hours. So hours is a measure of time. So I am given the rate and the time. So now I'm simply going to plug those numbers into my formula. So my formula again is D equals R times T. I don't know my distance, so that's going to stay D equals. My rate is 65 miles. You can shorten that to MI per hour, HR, times 3. My T is 3 hours, so 3 hours. Now, since I have hours and hours, those can get crossed off. And now I simply solve this problem. So my distance is going to be 65 times 3. So you can use a calculator. That would be 195, and I'm left with miles. So our answer would be that you went 195 miles over the 3 hours. Okay. Now, based on the other problems, you might have to use a different formula if you have different pieces of information that you know. So please look at the directions for the next problems that you have to work on, and make sure you're using the correct formula to solve the right problem.